Ano ai ke aloha nui a kako a Paulo o Valkeia o Keali'i Grothman. Aloha kako. This is Keali'i Grothman, Kumu Keali'i. Here with our next presentation, our second presentation entitled Ka Mo'oku'auhau, the royal lineage of the Hawaiian monarchs. Mo'oku'auhau simply means genealogy or family line. In this presentation, we're going to be talking about the royal Hawaiian family, their lines, how are they connected, as well as kind of basically covering family trees in general. Why is it important to Hawaiian culture? Why even bother memorizing these Hawaiian names and who's who and whatnot? So that's what we're going to be covering over the next hour or so in our presentation. So we're going to get started right away with our Mo'oku'auhau, going deep into Hawaiian history, into the royal Hawaiian families. Now I have to warn you before we even get started, the Hawaiian lineages are pretty crazy. It's not simply just this chief, mother and father, their parents and whatnot, and we're going to tell you a little bit why it is a bit crazy, why is it so confusing. So I hope you take your time learning. If you need to stop, listen again, go back, and then continue on, please do so, because there's going to be a lot of information coming your way, and I really don't want you to get too confused. People say I'm kind of a crazy person, and part of my craziness is because as a child I had to grow up learning a lot of these names, the people, their stories, each person's story, and I don't have any space in my brain left. So I hope with this video you don't have to rely purely upon your memory. You can just have this as a reference for yourself, and we're gonna get started right away. And so right now we're going to get started right into our presentation, and we're going to continue on to our table of contents, just a simple overview of what's going to be covered. First, we're going to go over etymology. We're going to learn about the meaning of mo'oku'auhau and some other terms related to Hawaiian words related to genealogy, family lines, and as well as going over olelo no'eau. Olelo no'eau are our poetic sayings, our wise sayings, words and phrases that have been passed down to us from history. And these are olelo no'eau, poetic sayings referencing or about families and genealogy. And it reveals to us a little bit about culture, history, and the thinking of the people of old Hawaii. The second part we're going to go over are the importance. Why is genealogy important in Hawaiian culture? As I said again in my opening, why even bother with this? So we're going to cover over that in our second topic. In our third topic, and this is where the meat is going to come in, we're going to go over the Hawaiian lines, the royal lines, the monarchs. There's just so much monarchs we're going to cover, so I'm going to give you some basic information over some of them. There's a lot, but some of them have very interesting lives, very connected to Hawaii, and I would like to cover them, but there's a lot, and again, how are they related to each other? How is all of this connected? Okay, so that's our third point. And then we're going to wrap it up at the end with some conclusions, going over the importance of genealogy in modern times. How is it relevant? As well as, are there any monarchy left? Are there any royalty left? As well as my own personal thoughts. So kind of a lot we're going to cover over today, so we're going to get started. And the first, etymology, studying of the words, breaking down the words and what do they mean, as well as our olelo no'eau. Our first is the word mo'o. We heard this sound, this word mo'o before, and usually it translates to as a lizard or even perhaps a supernatural lizard. And what's interesting about mo'o in Hawaiian culture, these lizards, all these supernatural kind of dragon, giant lizards, they always lived in water. Water. Not fire-breathing water. So it's very interesting. So if we look back in history and time, generally Polynesians represents a culture, right? So that includes Tonga, Samoa, Hawaii, New Zealand, Aotearoa, the Maori people, Rapa Nui, Easter Island, Tahiti. And so these people have a similar culture, very similar language. But that doesn't mean we're not connected to the rest of the Pacific Islanders, which are the Micronesians, in Chuuk, in the Chamorro of Guam, the people of Fiji, the Melanesians of Vanuatu, Papua New Guinea. So if we kind of pull us all the way back thousands of years in history, we think, linguistics historians think, that we come from Southeast Asia, even the Philippines and Taiwan. Some early evidence of the people, Hawaiians, coming from Taiwan. And when we think of Taiwan, of course we think of China. But the Chinese came to the island of Taiwan only about 500-600 years ago. There are indigenous people still in Taiwan that have been there for tens of thousands of years. Their languages are related to Tagalog, the Filipino languages. Yeah. And so going back to mo'o, what is in Southeast Asia that they have? They have these giant water monitor lizards. I love them. I think they're beautiful. So here we are at the Royal Lines of Hawaii. Wow. Lot of people in here. Just to give you an overview, to kind of clarify, if it's yellow in a square, it means kane, a man. If it's a circle with red, it's a wahine, woman. If the line is solid, that means that it is family relation by blood, maybe brother, sister, or father, daughter, child. Yeah, if it's a dotted line, that means it is a spouse, someone that they had married. Okay, so just take a little overview at this. Okay, yeah, crazy, isn't it? So there's a lot of different chiefs within the Hawaiian family. This is just one section, and we are tracing from the Pi'ilani family lines. Okay, we are tracing from the Maui family lines, and we're gonna get started with the ruler of Maui, which is Kekaulike. Okay, so we're gonna go over some chiefs, just a little history over each one. Not too deep. If not, we're gonna be here for days. But just a little bit about them. So Kekaulike, he's a descendant of the Pi'ilani family. His ancestor Pi'ilani was a great chief. But number 13 marries another chiefess, Kekuia Poiva II. So it's not number 3. It's not that one. It's a different one. Just be careful. They have a child, and that child is Kamehameha. Ooh, number 35. So Keaua. So Kamehameha is the son of 13, Keaua, Kupua Pai Kalani Nui. Number 14, Kekuia Poiva II. Kamehameha. We're gonna come back to that guy, definitely. Okay, so anyway, number 15, Kahekili. Kahekili took over his father, Kekaulike, as the leader. Okay, so kind of overview, run view. Kamehameha I dies, his son Kamehameha II takes over. Kamehameha II dies in London, his son Kamehameha III dies, takes over. Kamehameha III dies, Kamehameha IV takes over. Kamehameha IV dies, Kamehameha V takes over. Now Kamehameha V, here, Kamehameha V, he had choices.